Nigeria is loud, vibrant, and surprisingly expensive. In this video, I'm breaking down exactly how much it costs me to live in Lagos every month in 2025. You might be shocked by the total amount. Let's start with the basic. Rent. I'm staying in a shared apartment and I have access to one bedroom and suite with bathroom and toilet and a little living space, and this cost me 2.2 million a year, right? If we want to break it down to monthly, it's going to be costing me 184,000 naira every month, and this includes all the charges like security deposit and all of that. It's just me like that lives here, and the room is big enough, and I also have a little living space, which means that it's comfortable and it's good enough for me. And I also have access to kitchen if I decide to cook. This can also go for two people because the room is big, the bed is big, like it's a, how do you say, 2x2 bed, which means two people can sleep on it comfortably. And I also have a living space, like I said, which means comfortably you and your partner can actually live here and pay the same amount that I'm paying. So two people, perfect. And if you want to live like a Nigerian, you can cramp 5 people in here and they will live comfortably. Trust me. All right, so that being said, just put in mind that it's a shared apartment, right? So there's no much to it, but your privacy and everything is secured. If you like cooking, you have access to the kitchen, you have the gas yourself, you can buy your own gas cooker and everything. So it's perfect, and it's in a good area, security, good estate, and all of that amenities. So that's the reason why I decided to stay here in the first place. Okay, so if you wanted a studio in the area where I am in Lekki, you're going to be spending nothing less than 4 to 5 million naira a year. Just look at it as if the studio is 4 to 5 million in this area where I am, 2-bedroom, you'll be looking for something to like 5 million to like 7 million. So it's quite expensive. Well, that's just Lagos for you. So cost of electricity. Power supply in Nigeria is mostly a do-it-yourself situation, but now they've introduced something called band A to B to C to D. But then, so where I am, I'm not sure what band we are on right now, but last time I spoke to the person who was in charge of that told me that we're now on band A, and funny enough, I've seen the difference significantly. So in my apartment, they do provide us with generator, 8 hours of generator, which means they do on it like for 1 hour during the day for you to like maybe charge your devices and pump water, and they also on it in the morning from like around 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock for 1 hour, and then at night if there's no light they do on it from like 8 to 1 a.m. at night. So that means you don't need a generator, but the light is more stable now, so we hardly use that. Anyway, every month it does cost me 120,000 naira, and this is because when I manage. So per kilowatt, it costs 450 per kilowatt. Bear in mind that where I'm staying, it's kind of different because then they factor in the diesel and everything for the generator, which means even if they own it or they don't own it, you're still going to just pay for the diesel, even if there's light 247. And then you're paying like times, I don't know, maybe like times 10 what some people will pay in other areas that are less expensive. So take for example, I have a friend that stays not in an estate, but just, you know, random here somewhere in Lekki, and she can just recharge like 10,000 naira and it takes her through the month, and whenever there's lights she can on her AC like 247 and she literally still spend less. But for me, if I run my AC 247, I'll be spending nothing less than, let's say, 250,000 naira. But sometimes I do ration it, I on the fan when it's less hot, and whenever I feel hot I turn on the AC, which consumes a lot. And this month I've been on the AC a lot, it's kind of like hot, and relatively I don't spend anything less than 100,000, but so far this month it's 120,000 naira on electricity. Groceries. So food is a big one. In a month I spend about 444,500 on groceries. That is like shopping at the supermarkets and at the local markets and ordering shopping deliveries, like groceries deliveries, which is how I mostly get my deliveries. And most of you might think that, oh yeah, that's why your grocery is expensive, but that is actually not the case because I did the research myself. So I've checked the cost of items at the supermarket and the cost of items at these delivery apps, and literally there's not much difference between them. So maybe an item costs 2,500 at supermarket, it might cost extra 15 naira on the app, which not big deal because if you factor in transportation to the supermarket, you literally spend more than that. And then the first thing about this app that I use, which I'm not going to say the name because they are not sponsoring my video, is If you spend anything more than 25,000 naira, you get your delivery for free. So put that in. So I always target 25,000 naira anytime I'm ready to make orders. So that saves me the cost on deliveries. And in any case, if I was to go to the supermarkets, I'm going to spend that transportation, which I can't avoid, So the app is better. So think about that. I also spend money on, eating out at Buka's fast food and lounges, which amounts to 74,000 naira. Usually that will be a low chunk of my expenses, because before I was really eating out a lot, and until I got a very serious food poisoning that left me in the hospital for about more than a week. Then I changed my mind and I started cooking for myself, and since then I've been cooking and I order less. So hence the reason why I spend 74,000 naira on eating out, which most of that is just me ordering maybe like bread and maybe cake, all the stuffs like that you need that I can't make by myself. That's it on groceries. 444,500 naira. And bear in mind that it's just me, right? One person. So if you're a family, if you have kids, exponentially it increases. It depends on how often you eat too. Let's talk about transportation. So getting around Lagos costs me about 55,000 naira every month, right? And this is because I don't go out much, and whenever I go out I use rides. So let's take for example, when I go out shooting or when I go to the supermarket, I usually use rides. So which InDrive, Uber, etc., and it costs me 55,000 naira. But then bear in mind that if you're an individual that goes out every other day and you use Uber or any other type of lift, it's going to be costing you way more than that. Okay, let's take for example, a 30-minute ride will cost me from 5,000 naira to 7,000 naira, and that's if it depends on the time I'm making that journey. Let's say it was during rush hour, then it will be around 7,000 to 8,000. Or if it was between the normal hours, it will be like 5,000 to 7,000 naira. So put that back of your mind. That's a 30-minute journey, so you can use it to calculate how far you're going and how much you could be spending a month on transportation. And if you are open to using public transport, that same ride of 30 minutes is going to cost you about 300 to 400 naira if you use public transportation. That is the bus. In here at Lekki, they call it Korokwe. I really don't know what it means, but all right, let's move on to data. So mobile data is another hefty cost to your budget. I spend 51,500 naira on data, on internet. So this is it. I have a Wi-Fi, Airtel by the way, which cost me before 20,000 naira, but now it costs 30,000 naira because everything was increased by 50% like a couple of months ago. Crazy, right? Yeah. So now I spent 30,000 naira on the Airtel Wi-Fi, and I spend on my phone, I get about 25 gig from MTN on a deal, by the way, which costs me something around 11,000 to 12,000 naira. And this is for backup when I'm out, and also when the Wi-Fi doesn't work, which is most of the time. And right now it's not working. It's been a mess for the past 1 week. So internet in Nigeria is a hassle and is expensive, unreliable, not trustworthy, but expensive. So put in mind that for you to be able to enjoy internet, you will need to have landline internet, which costs a lot, by the way. On average, on MTN, for you to get that set up, you spend nothing like less than 1 million naira if you want the hardwire line that is a little bit reliable from what I've heard, but it will cost you a lot. Let's talk about laundry. So in a month, I do spend about 45,000 naira on laundry. That is because I get someone to do my laundry for me. So every 2 weeks, the person comes up, pick up my clothes and get them washed, ironed and dried, ironed and brought back to me. I've tried the public laundry system, the laundromats. It was horrible experience. The one close to me, so terrible that whenever I do laundry, when I wash my clothes, they come out with infinite colors, like the clothes turn brown. Like, I'm not even joking. My white become brown and they don't get cleaned. Then there was another laundromat I used to go to, but that one is Lekki Phase 1, which is about 45 minutes. Like, it's about 30 minutes from here, depending on traffic. And I used to spend like 7,000 naira to go there and 7,000 naira to come back. So that's 14,000 naira on transport to go to laundry. And then I have to wait there, which takes time. Sometimes I could be there for like 3 to 4 hours. The cost to do your laundry there is 3,000 naira per wash. So every wash you do when you fill up the machine is 3,000 naira, which is not expensive, right? But for me, I usually have to separate my clothes into colors. So I have black colored and then white, so that will cost me 9,000 naira. So on average, I was spending for every wash when I go there, usually like 2 weeks, right? I do my laundry. It will cost me, so 14k plus 9,000 naira, that will be around 23,000 every 2 weeks. So if you add it together, that will be 46,000 naira. I did that math and I decided that, okay, since doing it here also costs the same, I'm just go with that offer. But if you have somebody that is comfortable, if you have your own washing machine, then strike out that cost from your own budget of living. But if you're on budget living like me, we don't have a washing machine here, so I have to do my laundry outside. But that's good. Also, it gets ironed, so that's also a perk that gets added to it when you get someone else to wash the laundry for you. So that's that about laundry. Entertainment in Nigeria is surprisingly cheap. Maybe not that entertainment, not the one of Azu, the club, blah 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 and all of that. I'm talking about Spotify, Apple Music, Netflix, and then Prime Videos and all that stuff. I know you'd be like, what is this guy talking about? Yeah, not that one. Okay, so surprisingly, it's cheap. I'm paying 3,500 for my Netflix, which allows 2 people to connect at the same time, and I do get good quality, no ads, right? 3,500 naira. That is less than £2, like literally less than £2. And if you want to get Netflix, this same account that I have in the UK or in Europe, you're spending nothing less than, nothing less than 15 euros or 15 pounds, or even in US, nothing less than $20. You'll be spending on that account and you might still be getting ads. That's something they introduced recently. I know it, right? But then entertainment is so cheap here. So that is one thing, very good. And also Prime is also cheap. You spend like 2,500 naira on Prime. Jesus, man, that's crazy. Spotify, I'm paying 2,000 something, 2,005. So I have Apple, I have Spotify, and I have Netflix, and I spend in a month 6,000 naira in a month. Isn't that amazing? And I'm hoping to be able to keep my accounts forever. Another thing I spend money on is giving people money, giving out money. So in a month, I give out around 63,000 naira. It could be more depending on how often I go out. So mostly, if you've watched my videos, when I go out, I do give out money to people randomly, or when they ask me, Agbiru, they're everywhere. Like when you try to shoot a video, whenever they see you with the camera, they're already out there to get you. So in all of this, whenever I go out to shoot, I do spend a lot of money, and sometimes randomly I give people money out. This might not be your case. You might just have people around you that say, guy, I beg now, can I just see like 10,000 naira there? You might have a friend, I'll be like, can I see like 5,000 naira? You know, you can't avoid it in Nigeria, trust me. So don't say that's not, add it to your budget. All right, so let's talk about cleaning, water and gas. So I do get someone to come around and clean twice in a week. So they get to clean my room, my bathroom, every other place, and then they clean the common area, so like the kitchen and the staircase around this whole place, and that's costing me 40,000 naira. So I pay the person 10,000 naira every week, and they get to clean the kitchen and some other parts of the building, which is how it's being kept clean. I can't ask anybody because I don't think they really care about doing that. But yeah, so I put it upon myself to make sure that that kitchen is clean, because I actually use it more than any other person in the building right now. So that is that. So cleaning cost me 40,000 naira. That's because of where I am. If you were living somewhere on the mainland that's this cheap, you could literally get someone to clean your apartment for you for 10,000 naira a month, and that will be fine. If you are happy cleaning by yourself, not lazy like me, then you will spend zero on that. All right, so let's talk about water. So water in Lekki is a mystery. It's bad. It's as bad as it comes. The water is yellow. You can't bathe with it. If you try to take a shower with it, you're in trouble. I can't shower with the water. It itches me every time I try it. So I have to buy pure water every other time. So this is how much I spend on pure water for shower. In a month, I spend 26,000 naira on pure water, which I use for showering. I also use for cleaning my dishes when I wash them, and maybe whenever I'm cooking, I used to do the cleaning, washing, rinsing, and all that stuff. So on pure water, I spent 26,000 naira. So now that I'm cooking, I don't know if it's 6 kg gas, or yeah, I think it's 6 kg sha. I know that it cost me around 11,000 naira to fill it up. So I spend 11,000 naira on gas every month. And also, let's talk about unexpected expenses. So how much do I spend on things I'm not expecting? I wasn't expecting to spend this amount this month, but I end up spending that amount. So I spent 74,000 naira on unexpected expenses. The only one I can remember is I got a new earpiece, wireless earpiece, for 29,000 naira. So that's the only one I can remember. The rest, I don't really know, but I just know that I took note of it whenever I make any expenses like that. In total, I spent in a month 1.1 million naira. some change. Alright guys, so that brings me to the end of this video. So bear in mind that this cost is only for an individual who is on a budget, right? I'm living in a shared apartment. Most people don't like it. So if you're someone that don't like it, you might want to live in a studio, which gives you self-contained. You have your cook, your kitchen and everything. In your own space, you probably have a laundry machine also in there, but you have to budget something between 4 to 5 million naira for a studio in a decent area, a good estate. You need to budget that amount. And if you're someone like a family and you need like a 2-bedroom apartment, you should be looking at something like let's say 6 to 7 to 8 million naira. It goes as luxurious as you want it, the higher it goes. So in a decent area like this, my area, you can get it for like 6 to 8 million naira for a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom flat. What's the cost of living in your area? How much are you spending in a month if you live in Lagos? And if you live in other parts of the world, like say US, UK, or Europe, let me know how much you spend in a month compared to how much I'm spending here. If you found any value from this video, don't forget to like, share. This will allow YouTube to push it to other people that might like the video just like you.
But I got there and real life happened.